Hey, hi everybody. Welcome to today's YouTube Live. Today we're going to be discussing things we wish we knew before coming to study at Lund. I'll be your host today, Erica. I'll tell you a little bit about me. I'm from Australia, Melbourne originally, and I'm here studying my Masters of Service Management, specialising in culture and creativity. And here today we've got two other students. I'll get them to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Anne-Maria. I come from Greece, and I am studying at LTH, Energy Efficient and Environmental Building Design.
Hi, I'm Hilya. I'm from Indonesia, and I'm studying the Masters in Biotechnology at LTH.
Cool. And we're wanting to talk about our own experiences and like why we came here, our insights into what studying at Lund is like. But we'd also like to know if you've got any questions for us. We're happy to answer those. And perhaps also let us know where you're tuning in from. We've got an Australian, Indonesian and Greek here today, but maybe you're from different places. That'll be cool to know. And perhaps we can start off by talk a bit about what perhaps some culture shocks were. Hilya, would you like to share what the biggest culture shock coming to Lund has been?
I think one of my biggest culture shocks, especially relating to the academic environment, is how everything's a bit more informal, like the relationship between students and professors and teachers. I think I got a culture shock when I first received an email from a professor just saying, hey, and then one sentence and then thanks. And I'm really not used to that because I would write really elaborate messages and then maybe you would send more to be more polite and very formal with your professors where I'm from. But I think that's really nice, and it actually helped me a lot in not being afraid to ask any questions, and I really like that. I can just go up to a teacher's office and then ask, hey, can I have 10 minutes of your time, and then just ask with some help with homework or assignments, and I think that's really nice, but it was a culture shock for me.
It's pretty informal. Yeah, I felt that as well. Perhaps not like a best friend relationship, but it is first name basis, and you can really chat.
The first name basis.
It's quite friendly.
Flat hierarchy, people might describe it as. That's my culture shock.
Yeah, I know all my professors. Well, we don't even call them professors. It's just like teachers' first names on a first name basis for sure.
It feels weird calling them professors at this point.
Yeah, that felt weird just then saying that. I guess they are. But what about you, Anna-Maria?
I totally agree with all of this. Although I wouldn't say that it was exactly culture shock. I think that it was really nice for me to find out that this nice way of communicating. Like, hey, I don't know, whatever. But yes. I'd say that the biggest culture shock somehow coming from Greece for me, it was how much more relaxed people are, because we're even at the university, in my university, my previous one, everyone was just running around full of energy, changing buildings to go from the lecture to the other lecture, but here everyone is just so chill, with their bikes, staying out in the sun, especially now that the spring is here. So yes, I really like it, this chill environment. Nice, it makes me happy too.
I guess my culture shock is a bit more where I've had some, you feel a bit of frustration, there's not necessarily there's a bit of a clash between what I'm used to and how a lot of Sweden operates. I like to be quite direct. I like to have if it's a yes, it's a no, or I wanna know. I get a bit if somebody's being a bit hazy, wishy-washy.
Yes, and you don't know exactly. Tell me yes or no, please.
I find Swedes, they like to talk things over. They're not going to give you a direct no, which I can actually appreciate now. I'm getting a bit more used to this way of we need to kind of the flat hierarchy. There's no one person at the top that decides yes or no, even in a workplace or a classroom situation. It likes to be discussed. Everyone gets a say. I'm getting used to that now, but when I came here, I think I was just tell me if it's a no, I won't be offended. So that's in Australia, usually we're pretty pretty direct. But
It's this chill way. We will
yeah,
say
very
it.
chill. But I think I'm getting used to that, and it's not a negative thing to be a little more relaxed and calm. Oh, cool. How about perhaps we can think what we would have wished we brought with us, maybe something physical, or what you wish you put in your suitcase before you came. Anna Marie, do you want to start yourself?
I can start, but I don't think that the proper person to explain this, because I literally brought my whole home with me.
Yeah, we've come a little bit further than you, but that's okay.
So maybe I shouldn't have brought that much, to be honest. Like, that's literally my reaction to hearing this thing. So yes, I would just advise, just literally bring what you think that you will need, like not a lot of stuff. Okay, if you want like your favorite teddy bear or your favorite pillow, yes, okay, I think that you should actually bring that, because it's going to be a very good emotional support during winter. But don't overdo it like I did. Like, don't overpack stuff.
I think I'm like the complete opposite here, because I came here just with a 23-kilogram suitcase, and now that whenever I come home and I see the suitcase, it's just like, I don't know, that tall, and then I see, well, I moved 11,000 kilometers away from home. I uprooted my entire life just with that one suitcase, and I could say I have no regrets.
I came here with one of those big backpacks.
Nice.
Previously I had traveled around Sweden before on a working holiday, so it's like a sentimental, I guess, as well, like this big backpack that I prefer to feel like I'm traveling. Now I've been here studying for a year. I guess I don't use it so much. Like it's not like I'm packing everything up every few weeks again and going to a different backpackers. But I still, even though it was a backpack, think I'd packed too much. Like,
really?
The kind of things perhaps I wish I had put in. I'm thinking about the things I wish I had taken out. Like the winter in Australia is nowhere near as cold as it is here. So any of those like jackets I thought might have keep me warm in winter, they're not going to be warm enough. But that's okay. I've been able to buy all these secondhand things. I just wish I didn't. I saved some space for some other things, I guess, more sentimental things.
Yeah.
It's hard to. You mentioned that it's not so far away to go to Greece.
Yes.
But if I need anything from Australia, it takes a month to maybe get it shipped here, or a bit hard to find on Amazon or in the shops. So some of those little things from home, maybe I wish I had packed a few more. And little souvenirs, like people, maybe you've had the same, they're interested when you're meeting Swedes as to, why are you here? Where have you come from? And the one thing people always say, maybe other people will think this as well, when you're from Australia, people always ask, how did you survive with all these dangerous animals? It's not a problem at all. This isn't something that, it's just like, I laugh it off, but this seems to be the thing people always ask me. I wish I had brought some like quirky little Australian animals or something to give to people. They seem to be fascinated by this.
Spider plushies.
Yeah, or sharks
so
or
cool.
snakes or something, just to play on with that thing. But you can't find them here.
Yeah.
I wish I had brought more like Australian things to share and just spread that around. But perhaps people would also say some food that you miss, or have you been able to find the kind of the home things you want to get?
Yeah, I mean, surprisingly, yes. Actually, I'm not super picky about food, so I didn't really think that much about what things I would be able or not be able to get here in Sweden or in Lund. So I came here with no expectations, but surprisingly, I can find so many things at the normal grocery store. It doesn't even have to be like a specialized Asian grocery store, but even at just a random grocery store, I could get, chili oil, all kinds of soy sauce, hoisin sauce, oyster sauce, and many other specialty ingredients. So I actually don't have any complaints.
Any cravings, things you've been missing now?
No cravings, no.
Perhaps you can get it shipped from Greece, but
Probably.
What about you?
But I agree on that thing, like, for example, this particular chocolate or this particular like cookie that you might be missing, this would be so nice to say, oh my God, I can go to the supermarket and find it. Sometimes though it happens, and I'm pretty sure that it happens with Asian products as well, that they have these weeks that they bring like from one particular country. I don't know if you have ever experienced something like that.
Sometimes they would have Portugal month at the supermarket.
Yes, so it was similar for me, and maybe once every 2 months I can find these things that I would like to. But yes, like the little snackies and the little things that you miss, I think that they're more important actually, because whatever you need, for example, like warm jacket that you mentioned, you can literally buy them from here, from second-hand stores, or even like the normal ones. They're much like better quality for this weather here, so you don't have to overdo again, like, because I did the same. I forgot all of my jackets and I wear none of those.
Yeah. I guess I can get very similar food as well here as I could back in Australia, and we have a lot of international food. So the same in Sweden, you can get Asian food. There's some Greek restaurants, lots of Italian, and my favorite food at the moment has been since I got here falafel roulette, like a falafel kebab.
Yes, that's the number one student dish.
Great price, and it always tastes delicious. So that's kind of what I go for, which isn't necessarily an Australian traditional food, but we get that back home, and I love that they do it really, really well here.
Yeah. I mean, I guess like it's also, when you cannot bring some stuff from home, it's also a chance to explore new stuff, right?
Yeah.
I've never had a falafel before moving here to Sweden.
Okay.
And I'm really glad I found out what a falafel is.
Perhaps that makes me think of, have you had any ways you can connect with your home here? Perhaps you've got even a surprise that you've had a bit of your own community. I'm thinking some of my, the one thing I missed from back home was sport. I'm a big fan of Aussie rules, Australian football, and that's one thing that I wish I could have brought with me and didn't think that would at all be possible. But it turns out there are some Australians here and people interested in that sport. I've actually joined a Australian football club here. Have there been any clubs or societies that perhaps for Indonesia that you've joined, or some people you've been able to connect with?
I think I did find some friends who went to the same university as I did during undergrad, for example. There are quite a lot of Indonesians in Malmö or in Copenhagen, but I think I don't have any like cravings about like what I used to do back home, or I mean, I think I was just trying to be open about as many new things as possible, and I don't have any problem with it.
Cool. Any communities that you've joined since you've been here?
I have generally joined like sports communities, these dance clubs, because that's what I also like to do. Now, if I have to think about like a particular thing or a particular club that we have back home, I wouldn't really say so, but it's really easy to find like your people if you want to connect. Like, even as a student, there are a lot of clubs and a lot of communities where it will be only people from your country, along with others, of course, that you can join. But depends always on what you like to do. Like, we have communities, there are different volleyball community, different padel. Is it called padel?
Paddle, yeah. The sport,
basketball, like football, whatever. And where I live in Delphi, you can always see these people gathering together when the weather is nice, like today here, and actually playing. That's
one big thing I'm noticing, perhaps more now that the weather's it's beautiful now, and the sun's shining. You really can see all these groups out enjoying
Yes,
that.
when in the winter you can't, like you have to know, but now that
they're still all happening through winter, but people, they more spend some time indoors then.
Yes, you have to find them in the winter, but in spring, they find you, like you can just walk and be like, hi.
Yeah. I thought that Sweden is a long way away, and not many people I know knew much about Sweden before I came here. So I wasn't sure what there was, like if there would be any, groups that were interested in things I was, if there would be people, around my age, if there would be kind of my people, my community that I could be part of. So I really was surprised that there is something for everybody, and whether it's part of, like, we've got some university nations, whether it's part of them, or there's lots of community groups that are outside of uni that get together too. That was really cool. I'm glad I found them, but I hope that a lot of people, if they come to Sweden, they know that they're there. And
they're there. So
especially in winter, there's a lot still a lot to do.
I think I would recommend, like, sometimes at university buildings, there would be like notice boards where people just post all sorts of posters for activities. I don't know, salsa, choir, like any kind you can imagine. Yeah. And yeah, if you've also took that time to go through, like, for example, if you go on social media and try to find your hobby, I think you would definitely find something. And if not in Lund, then maybe in Malmö.
Yeah, that's actually where I play Australian
Like,
football. Next to the water there, there's,
That's so
there's
nice.
a ground. And we often compete against Copenhagen. There's a bit of a rivalry between Sweden and Denmark.
Yes, of course.
But I'll make it clear, it's not just Australians in the team. Everyone's welcome. Everyone's welcome to play, but often people, if you know about the sport, then perhaps you're more likely to join. But it's, good fun. We've got Swedes and people from all over. I'm wondering now, perhaps what the biggest differences are for you between Indonesia and Sweden. What stands out to you the most?
Weather?
The weather, I would say the same for Australia, I think.
Yeah. I think, is it the same for us? Like, we're used to like having sun almost all
No,
year
I think you're a bit
or-
warmer than we are. I'm from the
yeah.
south in Melbourne, so a bit more, we still get a winter, but...
Yeah, I'm really used to having sun all year round and it being room temperature all year round, so I don't think a lot about what I need to wear. I would just wear whatever's in my closet and that's it. But it takes some time getting used to when you wake up in the morning and then you need to check the weather forecast and think whether do I need a wind jacket, do I need a warmer jacket, do I need like a huge winter, like one of those puffy jackets.
You need to keep you nice and warm. Yeah.
Do I need a scarf or do I need a sweater? And yeah, I think I'm not used to that mental load before, but I mean, it's not so bad. You get used to it, and of course, there's no bad weather, just bad clothing.
Yeah, they do. They do say that. If you
that.
come to this part of the world, you will get used to that saying.
Yeah.
Any big differences that come to mind, Anna Maria?
I would say too the lack of sun. Like, of course, we're much sunnier country than Sweden. Generally, the temperature depends on where you come from. Like if you're from the northern part, it's still gonna be cold, but of course not as cold as here. Like I cannot compare the winter here. I think, and you need a lot of good organizing on what you're going to wear. Like you said, the layering, the clothes, always a wind, like break your jacket. You cannot understand the wind here. Like it's crazy. Yes.
It seems to me, I agree completely with the weather. It doesn't get as cold as it does here. The big difference weather-wise as well is I've never experienced being in a city with snow before. It doesn't, not to say it snows a lot, but the fact that we have at least a few days of snow each year, that was, yes, cold, but also kind of magical. Like having outside of your... your student room having snow, snow falling.
You wake up in the morning and it's like, it's so nice.
And
I actually like snow.
And there's so many lights in winter as well.
Yeah.
Thinking that culture shock is how, it's pretty dark in winter, but I really like how Swedes light up the streets. They put these stars in the windows as well. Not something that you do so much in Australia because we have our Christmas in the middle of summer, so not so much of a need to put our fairy lights on. But that's really the culture shock, but also I think Swedes do it quite nicely, the way that they sort of brighten up everything. Yeah, and also culture shock is the time difference for me. I'm not sure how many hours it is between here and Indonesia, but
I think it's either 6 or 7, depending on whether we have daylight savings.
Yeah, ours
or
is
5. I don't know. But
8 to 10. So sometimes when you get here, being able to talk to friends and family back home was a bit of a. You had to figure it out. You had to plan ahead. And
it's like putting a message in a bottle, and then you. And then you wake up.
24 hours later, you'll get a response.
Yeah.
But that kind of thing you get used to, and I find it's amusing for everybody to think that, you know, what time is it? What time is it back home?
Sometimes I would schedule calls with the calendar, like,
Oh my god.
you're invited to this Zoom call, please attend. This is the calendar invite. And yeah, I mean, I think it works if you do it on the weekend, then you don't have any clashes with the working hours.
As long as you haven't been going out to nations too
Yeah.
late at night. Sometimes that could be an issue for me on weekends. You're having a good time. You're not going to wake up at, sorry, mum and dad, not waking up at 8 a.m. to give them a call. But we find time. Shall we chat now about how did Sweden differ or like meet your expectations? Did you have anything you expected that was different or something you were, you know, amazed by? You can.
Yeah. So I think that this is more of a personality trait, but I usually don't expect something. You know, when I go somewhere or I have something to do, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna lower my expectations so I won't get, you know, discouraged or disappointed. Yeah. However, I think that in the majority of things, Sweden surpassed my expectations. Like, I would think way too much. There were a few things that, you know, maybe don't suit me perfectly in my personality or my interest, but you can always find something to like do instead of what you were used to. So I think that this is very nice. And I think that it's really important. All of these communities that we were talking also about before are the ones that are actually welcoming you, and they're making you feel like, okay, like you meet my fullest expectations here, which is really, really good, because I'm not only going to talk about the university and the studies. I think that we must agree that this is like on a great level. I would prefer to focus more on how we perceive like, these things, like
our life, kind of everything else around besides just the classwork. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Sounds like you've really found, and I agree, like people are welcoming, you can give everything a go. Like when I came here, I wanted to try a bit of everything. You know, you go to so many different events and try different clubs. Doesn't mean that you have to stick with each one, but each one was lovely, welcoming, and
yes.
There are some that I did want to stay with and join.
You can always find like your people, your interests. May not be in one club, it can be in a lot of them. And also what I want to say is how the people actually treated me. At first you think, oh my god, like in Sweden they might be colder and I don't know, not that easy to approach, but once like you made friends and people open up, for me like they're some of the best people I've ever met in my life, which is crazy, you know, when you have all of this weird propaganda going on. But yes, like I really love my friends here. It's
not just face value.
Yes.
Awesome.
I think it's really the same for me. Like before I arrived here, I always hear about, it's a northern country. People are more cold and they have a more closed culture. I don't know, like I hear this, like it's not going to be easy to make friends and it's going to be hard for you to fit in when you're different. But I actually find that everyone is really friendly here. And I mean, sometimes people, like I say hi to my neighbors even if I don't know them, and then sometimes people would also make small talk when waiting for public transit, for example. So, I think that exceeds my expectations because I got caught in this propaganda.
There is a stereotype that Swedes will never make eye contact with you, and like they won't talk to you. But it sounds like that's not been your experience.
No, and especially when it's light outside, I think everyone's just in a good mood and they want to come up and chatter, especially
of all ages as well. It's not just other students that will come and say hello or want to talk to you. I've had quite a few like people of all ages, all demographics, just want to catch your eye and be like, you know, it's a good day today. We've got
When I lived in my old apartment, we have a big window that's facing a courtyard with like the government housing, they call it LKF.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would have children like playing in the courtyard. Sometimes they would knock on our windows asking for snacks.
Really?
Asking you to come and play?
Yeah, asking for like an apple. And neither of us in the household speak Swedish, and they can only talk in Swedish, but we managed, and I think that's really nice. I think that's a really warm memory.
perhaps you could touch on how is your Swedish? Is that something you expected to be using, or perhaps you knew that people in Sweden usually speak very, very good English? Did you know that before you came here, or that
I think I know that.
Okay.
Like being fluent in Swedish is not really needed for day-to-day life here. But I expected myself to learn a bit more just by passively being here. But it's really, really hard because everyone just tries to accommodate you by speaking English. But you won't get any problem by not speaking Swedish. I just felt like I should have invested more time because it's always nice to know the language of the country you're living in.
I had done a lot of Duolingo before I came here, but I don't know how well that...
Did it work for you?
I don't know how well that equipped me. I've started Swedish classes, SFE. I've been learning Swedish that way. So then you actually get a chance. It's with other people learning Swedish to practice. Because I found that day to day I don't use much Swedish other than a simple like thank you, like yes, no. So in the day to day life, I agree. It's not being used so much, but.
Like if you want to learn, you have to make an effort, right? Like you enroll in a class or try to.
And you also have to speak like with natives as well, because the simple thank you and goodbye at the supermarket, it's not going to be enough.
I'm trying now to increase my passive Swedish skills by reading news in Swedish, and it's working quite okay. But I still don't speak
not
very
newspapers or podcasts, maybe the
online,
news.
Like the news.
Yeah. They sometimes have this Lätt Svenska, it's like easy Swedish. They've got this podcast that, not so easy though, like it's still a challenge for sure for me, but they try to speak Swedish in a way that's a bit more suited to people just learning, to starting out. And often in class we will practice with those as well. So there's opportunities to learn. More than just Duolingo, but Duolingo still taught me a few bits and pieces. Pronunciation with locals
because the pronunciation is like really different in all of Sweden. I mean, they have a different accent here in the south, they have a different accent in the north, and usually when you go to the SFI classes, they speak with a typical Stockholm accent, so that they will accommodate you as well. And then if you try, like, you think, oh, okay, now I'm going to speak Swedish outside, and like, oh my god, you get so disappointed at first because you won't understand anything because of this difference in the accents. But like the more you listen, I'm not telling you to eavesdrop, but the more you listen,
you get a bit more accustomed.
Yes, you get accustomed. Yeah. And I think for me, one thing that helps a lot is also listening to the news. Like putting on Swedish TV or shows with Swedish subtitles, or the sound and then the English subtitles, so that you can train both your eye and your.
That's hearing. One thing I wish I had started doing before I came here. Actually, using Swedish subtitles or watching Swedish shows. I'll admit I'm now very into the Swedish Love Is Blind. I have it on in Swedish with English subtitles, but something that is kind of entertaining to watch. And in Swedish, you feel it's not like you're putting a whole lot of effort into studying. You feel like it's something I can spend hours doing, not feel like I'm actually studying Swedish. So, if you have time, but it's not, for sure. A lot of my classmates are not learning Swedish, and it's perfectly fine with their day to day. We do have a question in the chat. I think we can elaborate on. So, how have you been surprised by the Swedish teaching style? Is it very different from back home? We did mention before that it's more informal, but maybe Anna Maria, do you want to share the differences between Greece and here?
Yes, I mean, I wouldn't say that it's really, really different, the style of teaching. I mean, you, at least in my program, you will still go to class in the morning, you will leave in the afternoon, you will have this communication with the teacher. The thing that it's like different somehow is this sharp break at 12, like for lunch. We didn't have this. I mean, we had lunch much later. So like at 12 o'clock, everything stops. Like if you do work, they're gonna look at you like, what are you doing? It's lunchtime. And I would also say again this thing with the teachers, like how easily you can speak with them, how familiar you feel because you just call them by their first names, and they're also much more relaxed in their teaching style. Like you're not going to have the whiteboard and they're going to be writing. It's much more communicative.
Informal, what you were mentioning earlier. Yeah, that you by first names and you can approach them. For me, there's that for sure, but also just kind of like the teaching structure. Before, when I did my bachelor's in Australia, you had a lot of class time, and I was doing each semester 4 subjects, and they were all simultaneous. So I'd have, in the one day, I could have all 4 lectures, or maybe a lecture tutorial, seminar, and it would be very class heavy, and I'd have to juggle all those at the one time. The end of the semester, you would then have an exam period for all of those 4 different subjects at the same time. So completely different here. For me, it's been one subject after another, and it's pretty much 1 month, sometimes 2. You're doing one subject, you're focusing just on that for that 1 month. You'll have most of the time it's an exam or some kind of project report to finalize and hand in, and then you've got the weekend, and then the Monday you start the next subject. So really different way of juggling things. Like, it's not things that are simultaneous. And I think there's actually less class time. It's a lot more up to me to get through the material. There's a lot of reading, and the lectures, although there's not as many, they're not recorded. That was a big surprise to me when I came here. Every lecture back in Australia was recorded, so you had a lot of people that would just watch the recording later. Here, it's a lot of times quite a smaller class, and it's quite personal with the teacher. You're not having this person kind of like maybe what we're doing now, like speaking to a camera, and there might be some people in the class, but they're kind of at the back of the lecture theatre and they're kind of presenting to online. It's even the lectures are more like you can ask questions at any time. You can have a chat with the teacher. It's really different kind of environment for that. Have you noticed any difference compared to your undergrad?
For us, I think the exam season is different. Like what you said, we're doing all of the subjects, and then we're having 2 exam seasons, once in February and once in June. But here, like, we're breaking down the time, and I think that it's much more efficient, to be honest. Although, like, personally, not my program, it's really stressful. Like, we're going strong with the classes. We almost had like 1 semester every single day.
How many hours a week would you? We're doing different masters as well, obviously. So I wonder how many kind of contact hours. If it's every day, it's quite is it 30 hours a week? Did you have or?
Depends on the subject.
Okay.
Like, I think the heaviest one, I remember the heaviest weeks that we used to have. We had classes 4 times a week, but they were usually from around 10 until 4. Plus, the extra.
And you made sure you had the lunch break at 12.
But we made sure
okay.
we had the lunch break. It's really important. But I think that was the heaviest. And again, it's only one subject that you're focusing. It's not that you have 5 subjects to study for, which is much less stressful.
I think I prefer it one at a time as well.
Yeah,
but
great.
Both are just interesting to see the differences. Someone's wondering if it's very expensive to live in Lund, and especially about the rent. Julia, would you like to start us off? What do you think?
It's something quite subjective, right? What's expensive and what's not expensive. But I would say that Skåne and Lund in general is very, like, it's much more affordable compared to other cities. I don't know, if you live in Stockholm, for example, you might pay 11,000 crowns for a studio apartment, but here you can live for like a luxury, like with 11,000 crowns. I mean, if you compare Malmö or Lund to Copenhagen, for example, I think it's way more affordable. And of course, it's also how you manage your money. Like, for example, I have an apartment that's just enough for myself, and then I think what a lot of people do, especially international students who don't want to spend a lot, is that we cook. I don't know if you we meal prep, and then
sometimes not as much as I probably should. Yeah.
And then we pack lunches, so we don't pay like extra for lunch, because eating out is very expensive, and sometimes getting a meal from the cafeteria can be expensive. But yeah, if you cook and then maybe you take the bike everywhere, like, because Lund is very bikeable, it's maybe like 20 minutes from one edge
Yeah,
of town
you can get
to
across the
other.
whole city in 20
Yeah,
minutes,
so
or
then you
really
pay
anywhere in 10.
Zero in
Yeah.
transportation, right? So I think, yeah, I mean, it's subjective, but yeah, I think you can manage, if you can manage your expenses well, it's one of the
Yeah.
most affordable cities to live in this area.
I think that's well said. It depends completely
it
on
really
what you're
depends.
comparing it to. I wonder where,
Yeah, and what
Like
your
where you're-
expectations
yeah.
are.
and where you're coming from. It might, in Australia, I'd say it's about very similar. I don't feel like it's super cheap or super expensive, but it really depends. And I did live in Copenhagen for a year before I came to Lund, and for sure it was
Right.
a lot more expensive. But then again, like if you're going to have try to find a work alongside your studies, like in Copenhagen, you probably get paid a bit more than Sweden. To like depends on the different
Yeah.
krona price and what you're spending on. We mentioned my favorite. You guys seem to agree, are the falafel roulette.
Yeah.
You can get that for like 40 krona, like a really good one, and that's you can't really buy perhaps your dinner from the supermarket for the same price. So
Yeah.
you've got some really cheap options as well.
Yeah.
Any
I think it
feeling?
also depends on like what stage of life you're in. Like when I first arrived here, I just graduated from my undergrad, and then I'm like, yes, I can live in a corridor room for 3,000 crowns a month, and I will party with the others, right? But maybe if you're a bit more of a mature student, and then you want a bigger apartment to
Your own
yourself.
kitchen and
Yeah,
you're
or
wanting
your
to
own
cook more.
kitchen.
Yeah.
But all of these, like they offer this variety of houses as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm also living in a corridor room. It's really nice, really fun, and quite cheap. But if like you want bigger apartments, they also have that. Of course, it's going to be a bit more expensive.
Yeah.
But also, the furthest you are from the city center, the cheapest is also going to be like your apartment.
Yeah.
I don't know, like
Yeah,
where-
location.
how,
you
like
pay
how
your-
you perceive
Yeah.
the location, but
yeah.
But there is quite a lot of options, and I mean Malmö is also an option
Of
because
course.
yeah, you can commute from Malmö, and there are more options in a big city, right? And you can get all sorts of different kind of housing.
There's lots of different options. It depends how much luxury. Well, we're saying
Yeah.
luxury. I think it's because we're all living in corridor rooms, so that means that we're all sharing a kitchen. Is that right? I'm sharing a kitchen with 4 others, but I have my own room, my own bathroom, and even a little balcony. So I've got kind of my own space, but then the part that I am sharing is the kitchen, and there's also this big like common area. I'll add as well, I don't know if you guys have this, I have in my building a gym and a sauna.
What?
Oh,
Yeah,
same.
Sometimes, even though you don't have your own kitchen, you get those kind of...
Yeah, it's good.
If you're in a place that's a big kind of student shared building, often there might be those kind of quirks. And also things like you've got a nice bike storage.
And
It's not just
also
on the
the
street as
washing
well.
machines in the basement, that it's
Yeah.
super important, like especially for winter. And
I've never heard of a student having to buy their own washing machine and dryer.
yes.
There's definitely definitely
My
this.
old corridor room has we have our own washing machine in the kitchen, and that was amazing. So we can just wash
While you're cooking, you can do your...
yeah, exactly.
I like that. But yeah, hopefully that answered kind of is it expensive or not. It depends what your priorities are, and I think the corridor rooms usually are pretty budget friendly, so we've been able to make it work with not spending too much. Someone's also wondering what is the academic calendar like? When do you have holidays between semesters? Right now, you guys are finishing your
Yes. Yeah.
thesis. We've got holidays coming up. I can tell you what it's like for me because I still have, I'm still in my first year, so I'm doing more coursework, so actual classes, and still doing a subject on campus. It finishes first week of June is when I'll have my final final like hand-in, and then I don't start my next semester until like the last week of August. First week of September is when, might be like the 30th of August there. So I get a massive break. which I'm looking forward to. I'm not sure what your plans are. But then there's actually not, I was surprised by this, very different to Australia. There's not a massive break in between your semester 1 and semester 2. That happens about February, but for me, I didn't actually have any break. It was like, on a Friday, semester 1 finished, and then on the Monday, semester 2 began. What was it like for you? Did you get a bit of a break?
We did have a break for, like this, the academic calendar. I think the specifics depend on your faculty or your program, but I think for LTH we have a break for like 1 or 2 weeks maybe.
Yeah.
But then you still have exams right after, so you couldn't really like relax.
Yes, you
during
usually
Christmas.
have 2 weeks, then you have the exams, and after the exams you might get like maximum a week. It happens to us once, and then like we started the next next subject. But
I think I actually really like how the academic year is structured, because like I also have the same kind of like block, so it's a term. Every 2 months you study only 2 subjects, and then you have exam week, and then the next 2 months, and then exam weeks, and then during the exam weeks you only have the exam, so you don't need to.
So you can focus on your studies. Okay.
Yeah, and then for the engineering faculty at least, we have a really long break during Easter, because we have like around 1 week of Easter holidays, but then there are 2 weeks of re-exam period. So if you didn't fail any exam and you don't have to resit any of the exams, then you get the 2 weeks free. So that's quite a nice little break in the middle of the semester. And I think I really do appreciate the long summer holiday. It's just 3 months of nothing. But actually, you can also, if you are a person who prefers to do something over the summer, which I am, because I think I will go crazy if I don't do anything for 3 months. Sometimes there are also options to do an advanced course or a project where you can manage your own time, and then you can kind of like take that in the summer period, and then you have your credits right after the semester starts, and so it's like 50%.
So you've already done some of your classes before, so you can take it a bit lighter course workload.
Yeah, then you can take it a little bit lighter in the next semester. So I think, like there are lots of different possibilities.
You also, I forgot to mention, do get a break for Christmas and New Year's.
Yes.
You don't have to, you're kind of working, studying almost up until Christmas.
But you're thinking about the exams though.
Thinking about the exams depends on, I think I had an exam in the first week of January, actually. But you do get a few days off before Christmas, and the period in between, even if you might have some exam study, you do get that off until a few days into January. You do get to go and enjoy, and I certainly did. Christmas and New Year's was good fun, even though I had the study in the back of my mind. I could still enjoy a bit of Swedish Christmas, and they like to celebrate New Year's for sure.
Yeah. And what I like, I mean, I'm not sure if I can speak for other programs, but what I really like about my department or my program is that I have almost all of the exam dates right at the semester starts. No, right at the start of the academic year, they're already planning the exam dates for the courses. So if you know what courses you want to take, and then you know like how the exams are going to be organized, then if you want to go somewhere for your vacation, then you can start buying the flight tickets, or like you can really plan it ahead.
We do have this thing where you can see ahead, even if the subject hasn't started, what the times are for the classes, when the exam is going to be. So I know a lot of my classmates are taking advantage of that and planning their little European trips. I think a lot to Greece, actually. And Spain. A lot of people decided to hop up to Spain for a little break in kind of the middle of semester, but they knew that they could do that because they knew when their classes were.
Swedes really like to organize stuff beforehand, and I think that this is very nice, to be honest.
Yeah, this is very
Circles
nice.
back to another culture clash,
Yeah.
perhaps.
Yes.
I'm very
Yeah.
used to something like where a place where people are spontaneous, like let's get a coffee in 2 hours, or like you call someone, where are you, and then let's grab dinner in like 15 minutes, see you. But here everything's planned. So my friend group has started to have like this shared calendar where we plan fika 3 weeks.
How far in advance? 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel it's even 3 months for Swedes, sometimes. Or there's this joke that Swedes, if they have their laundry booked, we mentioned there's like a basement laundry option here, you have to book it, and if you don't book that, if you have it booked, that means that your entire schedule is full. Like you cannot possibly book something when you've got laundry planned. But I think that might be a bit of a clash for me as well. I like to be quite spontaneous, and especially now, if the sun's out, I'm wanting to go,
Yes,
go and enjoy.
I kind of miss this spontaneous. However, with the people that you're closer with, like you can definitely get this more like spontaneous. So do you want to go there, or like are you down? Like do you want to go for lunch? Do you want to go for coffee? I'm not saying that it's impossible, but it's usually with the people that you're closer to, so that you feel, you know, okay to call them and say like, oh, what about this? So
You
yeah.
still do get the group chats going around and seeing who's free now. Let's go and enjoy.
yeah, definitely.
But like for something big, like if for a dinner, then maybe
Something a bit more
use
planned.
a calendar. Yeah.
I don't want to brag too much about my sauna in my building, but things like that. I do live. Someone's also asked like what corridor rooms we're living in. Mine is one in Helsingborg actually, and it's 150 students in the same building. So things like spontaneous hangouts. Usually you just ask like if anyone else wants to join in the sauna, or anyone wants to go to. We've got these nice big balconies that are shared. You know, let's go enjoy the sunset on the balcony. Who else is around and free? And yeah, we often do that. That's works well in our building as well, because there's so many people, and chances are there's somebody going to be wanting to do what you're keen on doing at the same time. Yeah. What about you guys? You're both living in Lund, in corridor rooms.
I mean, I used to. First year, I was with Lund accommodation, so it was Folitorp North, I think. Yeah. And now I'm moving with, I moved to the housing provider that my building has. So I study at Kemicentrum, the chemical center, and they also have housing for students, and I applied to live there. But yeah, but then a lot of my friends, like classmates, also live in the same building, so we can be a little bit spontaneous.
It's still a student
it's
student
still like
run.
a very like a student community.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, I am living in one of the most popular.
Very nice. I've been bragging about my sauna, so feel free to jump in.
So I am living at Delphi. I think that it's one of the most, not advertised, I would say, but like the majority of people know Delphi, or even like older Swedish people that I've met are like, oh, I was living there too when I was studying. Delphi is really loud. If you just want to join spontaneously someone, the chances are that if you approach them, they will be like, yeah, sure, like come sit with us. Like I said, it's really loud, so there are a lot of parties going on. You might not be a party person, so then it's not for you, but you need to know like that it is going on. I'm also living in a corridor. I have my private bathroom, but then the kitchen and the is shared along with the living room. And it's really nice because we also have like our own group chat in the corridor. So whatever you want to do, you want to watch a movie, you want to play some video games on the TV, you just text, and like chances are 99% that someone like will appear and will be like, hey, yes, let's which is like really nice, and it makes like this spontaneousness that we talked about. It's really nice.
Yeah, I think for sure the same with mine. Although I don't know all 150 people in my building. There's a good amount of them that you do see a lot, you've become friends with, and someone's going to be available to hang out when you're around, when you're wanting to. Yeah, we do have someone else wanting to know more about our classes. So, do you have classes every day, and what is your schedule like? Perhaps, Hilia, did you want to chat with?
Yes.
I think you've given a nice example before of yours, but perhaps for a different kind of class.
That's kind of a hard question to answer because for me it really depends on the exact course that you're taking. I study, I mean, it's somewhere between science and engineering, but we do have lab work and projects as well. So it really depends on what kind of course. Like sometimes it's a project course and then you only get lectures for the first week or two, but then it's kind of like group work every week, and
You're
then
still
you kinda,
expected to put in the work and reach out to teachers if you've got
and then it's like
questions.
more how you set meetings with your teachers or how you set how you want to work with your group. There are other courses where it's like out of the 2 months you only have classes for the first month, and then you have the lab practicals for the next month. And sometimes there's also a 1 week break before the exam. Sometimes I also have courses where instead of a final exam, there's a midterm instead. So it's a really tightly packed lectures every day for 3 weeks, and then the midterm, and then nothing. But then at the end, you hand in a presentation or like a literature review. So I would say schedule, it really depends on the exact course, the teachers, and how they wanted to structure the course. But yeah, I think it was quite hard for me to get used to it at first because I'm used to courses having like the exact same
Structure,
time,
yeah.
the exact same time at the same day of the week, and then you have the exams all at the end. Like maybe you take 6 courses over the course of one big semester, and then you kind of know the schedule in your head because Tuesdays for course A and then Wednesdays for course B. But when I started here, I find myself having to import the class schedule to my own calendar. So then when I wake up in the morning, I know, okay, I need to go here and in this lecture room for this course, and the hand-in is...
I'm always double checking.
Right,
You're right, it is different each week. There's no 10 a.m. class on a Monday that you've always got. It's going to be...
Yeah, it's going to be different every week.
It's going to be different
right?
every week.
And that needs getting used to.
Mine's a bit, varies depending on the subjects as well. I'm studying in the social sciences service management masters, and sometimes there's like 4 days a week I've got classes, and that's a mixture of lectures, also some seminars, so like some more group work. Sometimes we've got study visits where we're actually trying to get out and see different parts of society. Like we've got different cultural organizations we're working with, and also the local municipality, understanding what projects they've got. So you're kind of going out in the field, but you're just going kind of locally and spending half a day. It's classwork, but it's not actually on campus. But I'd say about 15 hours a week of classes, but you're expected to do like another 15 or even more self-study a lot of the time. So I guess when we're saying we've got these classes, there's a lot of, like as you mentioned, there might be project work, things you're having to do. You're expected to still do a lot of your own study.
Self-study, you have to schedule it.
Yeah, and Sweden, I think, is very big on you guide it yourself. It's up to you. No one's going to be chasing you. Saying why weren't you in the lecture? Here's all the stuff to catch up. It's up to you to do that. So, yeah, kind of a.
Yeah, I'm also quite surprised that sometimes they would grade you on like 1 or 2 items throughout the whole period of the course, because then you don't really have like someone hovering over you, like giving checkpoints, like, okay, you've done this module really well, you've done that module, now maybe you're ready for the exam. It's just like how you manage your time throughout the whole course, how you manage your readings, how you manage to make sure that you understand the material before the exam. It's really heavy on the
independent
responsibility, independence.
That being said, there's a lot of support that you're given. Like you've got a lot of things to help with your writing. There's we've got these like SI classes. Not sure if you guys have that. Supplemental
student instructors.
Supplemental instructors. So you've got some of the people who have done the course before, like second years, coming and helping you work through the material. They do like little tutorial sessions with you, so to help you get through the material, and if they understand what you're going through because they've just done it a year before. So there's a lot of peer-to-peer as well that I feel if you're not getting something, it's okay. We're saying it's quite independent, but there's still a lot there.
Yeah.
You just have to ask for the help.
You can also actually ask the teachers for help.
Yes, exactly what I was thinking. This thing that we were talking about, like how easier it is to approach the teacher, or like walk up into their office. Exactly. It's like I have this question, they're gonna help you out. Like, there's no doubt.
We did have somebody just ask about scholarships. We're not sure, and we're not able to answer any questions about scholarships today. It's more so about our experiences coming to Sweden, to Lund, and our expectations. If there's any big differences we've felt, any culture clashes, if things have met our expectations. So if you've got any other questions about that or student life, like we've all been here at least a year now, so feel free to ask more things along those lines. But perhaps we can give some advice, like if people are coming from your home country, so coming from Greece, what kind of advice would you give them?
What kind of advice I would give them? To not overpack, like I said before. If you're like me, you're gonna get everything here. Of course, to not set like weird expectations, because nowhere is like your home country, and I think that this goes for everyone. Of course, it's enjoyable, it's amazing, you're gonna love it, you're gonna make a lot of friends, but it's not gonna be like your home. You can make it like your home, but it's not gonna be like the exact same. So if you're looking for that particular experience, and then you start maybe judging, but we didn't do this like that, they're doing it differently, it's okay. And I think that you need to dive into these differences. So, like, I don't know, just heads up and be happy. Like, it's really nice. I would recommend it to everyone.
I think I'll jump on the back of that. I've really enjoyed trying as much as I can, and not just the stuff for uni, like joining all of whatever events I see happening and trying out different, like the sporting club or different nations, like different events, and even just like going out to different pub nights. I've also joined, participated in a lot of organizations, and also volunteered for the municipality. So joining in more of Swedish life outside of university as well. Like, I love all of the Swedish. They're quite different to back home, but they've got so many festivals. They've got ones all throughout the year, especially some quirky ones like Midsummer, where it might seem like everybody's Swedish there. They're all singing in Swedish and things, but it is so much fun to join in. And I've even found myself, like, you kind of act like a frog jumping around this pole in Midsummer. Sounds silly, but it is so much fun. And it can feel a bit daunting going to these very Swedish traditions as someone who's not from here. But I'd say go for it. And also with the kind of more professional things, like that's more with the local organizations, I'd say go for it. Like, especially if you're thinking you might want to work here afterwards, or come back to Sweden and meet more Swedes, have those networks. There's the opportunities for it. So I'd say, yeah, go for it. It's not going to be just like it is back home, but don't be put off by it being awkward and feeling like you don't belong. You're still going to have so much fun and enjoy all these quirky things. Any advice you'd give to people coming
similar.
from Indonesia?
Be open to any kind of differences or experiences. I've had so much fun here, and I've gotten to really enjoy being in an environment that's completely different from where I'm from. And to not worry too much, I would say, because I personally am a very anxious person, and I overthink, and I go through every single scenario that could go wrong in my head. Like, what if I come here and I didn't
Can
make
be
any
scary.
friends.
I've
and-
certainly had those thoughts
right?
as well.
Or like, what if I come here and I couldn't follow with my studies? And what if I don't feel like I like the food? Or what if I cannot go through winter? And like, there's so many things you can be scared of. But I think if we just worry a bit less and try to cross the bridge when you get there, like take things like take the
plunge.
one at
That's,
a time.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
One
That's
at a
what I would
time,
go
and
for.
try to be brave. Like join some stuff that maybe you wouldn't do back home. I think
Even if you feel awkward, even if you feel that
Yeah.
you don't belong, like just go for it. Like push yourself a little bit. It's gonna be fine, and
Yeah.
no one is going to judge you. Like the most common thing to happen is that people will be happy to see you.
Yeah.
Like don't think negatively.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I think that's a great way to end it. Perfect. Because now we've come to the end. We've been here answering your questions. Thanks so much, Hilia and Anna Maria. It's really cool to chat with some other students. If you've got any more questions, like you're watching this or now wanting to ask or in the future, feel free to get in touch with Lund Uni. And you can also subscribe. You might see our faces again or other students that are here to ask some other questions doing a different topic. But yeah, we wish you all the very best. Maybe we'll see you at Lund soon. Thanks, guys.